Hutton Orbital Radio, the only radio station to give you time off for good behaviour.
The studio has had its 5-year deep clean during the week, and it looks pristine as it stands ready to welcome our presenters. The institutional grey paint has been replaced with a much more modern shade of institutional beige, which is also much cheerier. In the kitchenette, the toaster has been emptied of crumbs, the kettle scum has been relocated to a sanctuary for moulds, spores and lichens, and the mugs have been blasted clean by tying them to the thruster pod of a Type 9 and pressing boost as many times as they could in an hour. The genuine wood effect formica has been polished to high shine, and new Tipex has been applied so we all know what the buttons do in the consoles. Posters have been placed where the mug rings used to be to protect worktops from any damage. Buckneck's chair, it still sits in the corner with yellow and black tape all over it. It looks like they've tried to get the stains out again, but were unsuccessful. They have put a new biohazard sign on it though. That weird bit on the panel of the outside wall has been given a good scrub as well. Turns out it's a window. Who knew? Finally, the cruise chairs have all been given a thorough clean. Antimacassars adorn the headrests and the upholstery looks like new. A particularly queasy Mr. Dusty Wet and Dry sits forlornly in the corridor with a packet of Alka-Seltzer next to it. Everyone troops in and sits at the desks. The smell of bleach is overpowering and the reflections are blinding. Through the fog of unexpected immaculateness, a voice says,
Our mics are live. Good evening, and welcome to this week's thrilling, throbbing Hutton Orbital Live. I'm Rudolph Hucker.
I'm the apology officer, and I'd like to get in a disclaimer. If it sounds inappropriate, I absolutely meant it that way.
I'm Norma Snookers, and when the news breaks, I like to be the first to grab hold of it.
I am Sandy Crevice.
I'm Mike Rochburns, and I'm bringing my latest take on the news and at least one restraining order.
And on that note, yes, possibly, on with the headlines. That's the thing, isn't it? Don't lose your head over the latest leaks.
We skim over something that everyone else missed.
Annual convention details announced.
Galaxy's biggest gold nugget narrowly misses Hutton.
And just so you don't miss it, we bring you the BGS news.
Yet again, we have to report that the Pilots Federation are leakier than a rusty colander, as pictures emerged in the last 24 hours from a spy camera deep within one of the Starship manufacturer's tip-top secret prototyping facilities. This anonymous spy, it is yet to be determined whether it's the two-legged eyeball-equipped camera-carrying variety, or some form of spy drone that probably looks like a little dragonfly, has provided an insight into the latest ship developments. It should be noted that while the Pilots Federation doesn't actually make any ships at all, the ship manufacturers do. It is such a highly regulated process that the ship manufacturers prototype their latest inventions within facilities managed and run by the Pilots Federation, probably deep in the bowels of Shinrata Desra, though possibly at an underground facility buried somewhere planetside. Whilst the details of the ship remain hidden behind big piles of boxes, Hutton's analytical team have spotted that the Pilots Federation might be in need of a fully unionised apology officer sometime in the near future. With the advent of the computer clone Automat 5000, the latest edition of the biological 3D printer that can chuck out a new you within seconds of being notified of your demise via long-range witch space signal in recent decades, when it comes to space pilots, and most probably the engineers that build the prototype ships, there's no such thing as life is precious. This has led to a rather lackadaisical attitude to health and safety. As seen with the sneak pictures of the Mandalay last summer, whereby one of the technicians was spotted standing inside the cowling of a lit engine, this spy picture clearly shows the aftermath of one particularly nasty industrial accident. When the press officers are saying that people are literally losing their minds over this picture, they aren't joking. Their mind, the brain that contains it, the skull that holds that, and all the fleshy squishy bits stuck on the outside. We do not yet have the confirmed identity of the poor technician involved in the incident, nor any indication of the cause of their untimely decapitation, nor again why their corpse hasn't dropped to the floor yet, though that might be a combination of magnets, Velcro, and really big fans. As humanoid robots aren't allowed, which explains why Mr. Dusty looks like someone cross-engineered a microwave vacuum cleaner and an octopus, we can rule out that this was actually some form of android. The Apology Onion has sent a strongly worded suggestion that in such dangerous environments an unionized apology officer should be present at all times, ready to present apologies on the spot to co-workers, management, the press, and of course the family of the poor unfortunate soul that decided to lick the end of an arc welder. As for the ship, Commander Vulkarius has been vocal in recent weeks that he's in favour of a new medium-sized Imperial ship, and the lines we can see hidden behind the boxes certainly lend themselves to his fantasies being fulfilled. Either that, or as Chuck Handgun said at the ECM conference last year, it's a Saud Kruger, in which case it's probably called something like a porpoise. Or, let me check my quotes, a fonking sperm whale.
And hot on the heels of the leaky boat that is the Pilots Federation, sharp-eyed commanders have been all a Twitter about something they believe that nobody else noticed in the images released.
Point of order, we can't call it that now.
Sorry, what?
We can't say that word anymore. We have to say X.
What word?
Twitter.
And I have to say X instead?
Yes.
As in, the birds were all Xing when the fox approached their nest.
Yes.
Sounds like some kind of weird fetish thing to me, but okay. A new evolution of the humble skimmer. Most commanders are aware that planetary installations are often guarded by hover drones, modern versions of the venerable quadcopter, just with 2 and not 4, so maybe they're duocopters? Most of which have an attitude problem, armaments, and an unerring ability to turn approaching SRVs into dust. Paired with the Goliath skimmers, these security drones are the bane of anyone wanting a little bit of SRV material gathering around a derelict installation. The leaked variety, however, shows that a number of these security drones have now been deployed in shipyards and equipped with arms, leading to their use as 3-dimensional pack mules and occasionally welding assistants on large construction projects. Yes, it seems the age-old mantra of if it floats and it kills, it can also lift and spill, is alive and well in shipbuilding circles. Core Dynamics Defense Solutions, one of the major manufacturers of military-grade skimmers, issued the following statement.
While the public perception of skimmers has long been one of relentless, autonomous, heavily armed enforcement units, we at Core Dynamics firmly believe in responsible innovation. The adaptation of our highly efficient security drones into shipyard workhorses represents a bold new future. One where swords can be beaten into ploughshares, railguns into rivet guns, and high-yield explosives into, well, slightly lower-yield explosives for controlled demolition. It's an exciting time to see our battlefield-proven technology adapted for civilian use, and in the unlikely event that an industrial dispute arises, these models can still neutralise a workforce insurrection with extreme prejudice.
Naturally, Hutton's analytical department has been poring over the images for further details, Early findings suggest that while these industrial skimmers are currently limited to hauling crates, welding struts and standing ominously in corners, they remain fully capable of the sort of defensive measures one might expect from a vehicle whose original remit was kill first and ask questions when the debris settles. Early test deployments of these helpful skimmers have already produced some unintended consequences. Reports from several shipyards indicate that the drones struggle with certain human-centric instructions, such as the meaning of break time. One particularly unfortunate incident saw a technician requiring medical attention after his lunch was delivered to him at high velocity. Meanwhile, another team found themselves forcibly removed from their designated rest area when a skimmer misinterpreted "take a break" as a direct command to disassemble the seating arrangements. While engineers insist that these are minor teething issues, shipyard personnel have started wearing reinforced lunch boxes as a precaution. The resident Hutton security expert had this to say.
On the one hand, this is a great step forward for logistics and automation. On the other, I have yet to see a single security drone resist the urge to shoot at something that moves. I hope they're keeping an eye on the unexpected hostile response setting, or those shipyards might start losing more workers than they're hiring.
Concerns have also been raised that repurposed skimmers might develop battle nostalgia, a psychological phenomenon observed in certain autonomous military units, wherein they pine for their days of combat and suddenly relapse into active service. While manufacturers insist that safeguards are in place, a sudden flurry of SRV wreckage and unscheduled employee nap time appearing at shipyards may suggest otherwise.
Elite Community Meet, ECM, has been officially announced for 16th of August, landing this year at Coventry, widely acknowledged as not North Britain and by all accounts somewhere in the approximate middle. Commanders from across the galaxy, particularly those named Dave, are already booking their passage to this annual gathering of great import. It is of course essential to clarify that this ECM has nothing whatsoever to do with electronic countermeasures, emergency cargo management, or extraterrestrial chimpanzee manipulation. No, this ECM remains firmly dedicated to an entirely different and highly sophisticated pursuit: the appreciation of games, the noble art of charity fundraising, and, for reasons best left unexplored, an inordinate amount of vintage technology from centuries past. Attendees can expect a dazzling display of archaic wonders, from mechanical keyboards that click reassuringly with every keystroke, to storage devices so vast they can contain nearly 3 full Alan Stroud novels. The highlight of the exhibition is rumoured to be a functioning example of dial-up internet, complete with authentic connection noises and the added excitement of wondering whether the person nearest to it will accidentally sever the connection by answering an adjacent landline telephone. Naturally, no ECM would be complete without a selection of time-honoured traditional pastimes. Delegates will have the opportunity to test their mettle in such cerebral contests as Shove Halfpenny, Who Can Fix This ZX Spectrum First, and the ever-thrilling Rewind This VHS Tape Before the Video Rental Late Fee Kicks In. A staple of ECM is of course the array of homemade electronics projects, including various dangerously over-engineered devices of uncertain legality. Commander Vulkarius has promised a new invention for this year, details of which remain highly classified, though early reports suggest it may well make your head explode, either metaphorically or literally, depending on proximity and activation sequence. Lest anyone be concerned, Coventry has confirmed that the Luftwaffe will not be making an appearance this time, having already visited quite comprehensively in the past. The resulting ring road remains a lasting testament to their enthusiasm. Finally, no ECM would be complete without the most essential component of any successful gathering, a well-stocked bar. This year's ECM will feature a truly outstanding selection, ensuring that attendees will be able to engage in deep philosophical debates about the best joystick of the 1980s, whilst holding on to something considerably stronger than a cup of tea.
A small but significant event in recent weeks led to the most profitable debris field in the history of interstellar mining, as an asteroid composed almost entirely of gold brushed past Hutton. The asteroid is known as Gildred Harbinger 7483, and it missed the station by a margin described as local astronomers as far too close for comfort, yet just far enough away to ruin everyone's day. And of course it was missed by Amelia. The near miss was first detected when long-range scanners picked up an anomalous object. High reflectivity object hurtling through the system. Hutton controllers initially dismissed the object as yet another pilot attempting to dock without requesting clearance, but further analysis confirmed it to be a material-rich body with astonishing purity. Within minutes, long-range scanners confirmed what prospectors have only ever dreamed of: a chunk of space rock composed of 99.8% gold and 0.1% trace minerals, and the other 0.1 of other, which, based on history, likely includes at least one discarded Hutton mug and the occasional lost Sidewinder. As word spread across the system, the local pilot's lounge witnessed what could only be described as an outbreak of uncontrolled avarice. What on earth's that word?
Avarice.
Avarice. Never come across that one before. But anyway, press my seamless button in a minute. With commanders abandoning their drinks, spilling their Centuri Megagin and sprinting towards their ships with such enthusiasm that medical emergencies were called in for trampling injuries. The asteroid's flyby was so close that for a brief, glorious moment it was visible through Hutton's portholes, casting a golden shimmer across the station's interior. Unfortunately, due to the station's traditional no artificial gravity policy, the resulting scramble to get a better view resulted in multiple mid-air collisions, at least one head stuck in a ventilation duct, and an unfortunate incident involving an over-enthusiastic prospector, a grappling hook, and the station's only functioning espresso machine. The chase was on. Within minutes, dozens of ships launched in hot pursuit after the asteroid, hoping to stake a claim before the inevitable corporate and political squabbles began. Reports indicate that the first ships to arrive on the scene had no mining equipment whatsoever, with at least one commander attempting to extract material using nothing but a strongly worded claim of ownership and a sharp bit of hull plating. Others, armed with pulse lasers and excessive enthusiasm, succeeded only in vaporizing a small fraction of their potential retirement fund. As expected, news of the free-floating interstellar gold bar did not remain confined to Hutton. Within hours, multiple corporations dispatched survey teams, security forces, and in the case of the Federation, at least 3 full squadrons of legal advisors. The Empire, upon learning of the asteroid's value, issued a statement declaring it
a most imperial find,
and suggesting that any attempt to claim it without proper paperwork should be seen as
deeply dishonourable, punishable by forced remedial etiquette lessons.
Crikey. Despite the initial chaos, mining operations are now well underway, with the unconfirmed but significant portion of the asteroid already missing under mysterious circumstances. Current estimates suggest that the asteroid actually hit Hutton. Had the asteroid actually hit Hutton, Hutton is still there, don't panic. The sheer wealth contained within would have made every resident an instant billionaire. Minus, of course, the minor inconvenience of obliteration. As it stands, Hutton remains intact. The asteroid is rapidly disappearing, and multiple pilots have filed insurance claims citing unexpected financial opportunity induced hull breach. Meanwhile, station authorities have reissued their standard warning against reckless pursuit of unidentified space debris. Nothing that last time something valuable was spotted flying past the station was half the fleet ended up chasing after a discarded biscuit wrapper with a particularly reflective surface.
Welcome to the Hutton BGS bit, where we put orange slices in our mouths and smile through the window of the Hutton incident room until they call security to take us away. We are in expansion again. I know, big whoop. With 17 systems still above their preferred influence cap of 60%, it's not that surprising really. We have booms in Alpha Centauri, Haghole, Kokari, Hazel, Wolf 562 and 36 Ophiuchi. Those investment states are spreading. Not only is Barnard Star feeling the love, but Wolf 359 has entered investment too. That's all there is really, and I bet you're thinking, well, that's all very well and good, but what does it all mean? Well, I'll tell you. If you want to truck it or run missions, then get yourself over to Barnard Star or Wolf 359, where you can make use of the investment status to maximise your earnings. If you want to shoot it, then, well, you're out of luck. Find an anarchy system somewhere and pick a fight. And that's it for this week's Hutton BGS bit.
Hey!
He's back.
He's back. Oh, that was nearly seamless. I think all the buttons. The Tipex unfortunately means I can't read the buttons now, so I'm working on sort of positional. It's got to be this one kind of button pushing for this week.
That's brand new Tipex.
Well, I might have to sit there and
just
scrape
drew
it.
random shapes and icons with it. What does the smiley face button do?
Good stuff.
But the trouble is, I had to Tipex out the ones that didn't draw quite right. So basically, I've just got white blobs all over the
Well, there you go.
Decks.
Whose fault is that then?
Whoever invented Tipex, definitely.
Yeah, let's blame them. Yeah. Have you not got any of that?
Is that Mr. Tipex or Mr. X? And did his name used to be Twitter?
It's
No, X. We'll have to ask Vulkarius who invented Tipex.
It's Tipex. 2 X's, so I don't think it's the same. I don't think they're related.
It was Wolfgang Dabish, isn't it? Anyway, wasn't it Dabish or something? Dabish
What
and
about
Tipex.
have you not got any Tipex thinner?
Well, I
Remember
think
you
you're being. I think you're being
nothing gets
fattest.
thinner
Waiters
around
there.
here.
Yeah.
Do you not remember you used to get bottles of Tipex thinner?
No.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
For when it had gone crusty in the tube.
For when it gone crusty in the tube. You pour some of this stuff in. That smelled amazing. You pour some of this stuff
Do
in.
not smell. This is how you end up with an episode of the Galnet Res Digest, and Steve in the infirmary is by smelling strange things, or just smelling strange.
We should put Tipex thinner in the Galnet Digest. Galnet
Too dangerous.
Res Digest. Yeah, I suppose.
White gloopy pools of Anyway, so yes, it's oh dear, mental images of no, I can't feed that into the Dusty Bot image generation. Goes crunchy on the edges. Right, well, we're joined in the studio by Vulkarius, by Flossy, by Lithobreaker, by Little Grey, by me, by Mr. Dusty Bot kicking around somewhere,
And me.
yeah, and an apology officer. That's the one.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Yep.
I knew you were going to get to it eventually. It was Jim that was interceding.
I definitely don't deliberately miss you every time. No.
No, you mainly include me now. It's great.
Mainly, yes.
If he missed you every time, he'd have to apologise, and you know how that'd end badly.
Yeah, it mainly includes me on a Thursday. Mainly.
Mainly. Yes, the apology officer in Spain stays mainly. Well, anyway, right. Well,
Next to the pool.
before we do anything else, I suppose we better mention the elephant in the room. No, the extraterrestrial chimpanzee manipulation in the room. Yes.
Don't feed that into the image generator either.
No.
I thought there was an elephant in the room. That's what must be pushing my chair up against the desk.
Right. Anyway, the electronic countermeasures. Flossie, you mentioned it earlier.
Yep.
Yes, it's not just been the dates were announced a while back, but we've actually got the dates and tickety things live, and people are actually coming to the conference this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anybody wondering whether your commentary on Shove Halfpenny and Who Can Fix This ZX Spectrum first? Yes, there was and are both of those happening. And a well-stocked bar. But yes, it is happening. The tickets are live. Many people have booked tickets already. I mean, it's a fun day out in the company of other commanders. That's about it, isn't it? With a good bar.
Mm-hmm.
What more do you need?
But elitecommunitymeet.info is the location for that one. 16th of August, Coventry, but not in Coventry, sort of just outside Coventry to the left a bit. We have managed to achieve the same thing we've achieved for many years on ECM. It's an unbroken record. Litho, what did we break?
We broke the hotel booking system.
Yes.
Again.
We announced it.
Again.
Well, the thing is, we tested this, right? We put the hotel booking system live for the crew a number of weeks back and said to all the crew, book your tickets. And they did. And they went, yeah, it's all perfect. The prices are right, and all the confirmations came through. So we felt when it was time to announce to the public, and Lave Radio on Tuesday got the debut announcement, it'd be fine. And then everybody went to book a hotel room and we melted it. Again, I don't know how many years we've done that now.
The real question is, how long will it take to get it back up and running again?
Well, no, it's
last
running.
Time it was.
This is fail safe. This one is when you book. When you book, you're booked. It's in. So the good news is it fails safe.
Room roulette. You just don't know if you've booked or not. It's Schrodinger's bookings.
It's Schrodinger's bookings. But basically, if the money's gone in, and we've checked every single one that's asked. The marvelous Libby over at the venue has keeping me up to date with people who have actually booked using our code, and the answer has been yes, they're in. And she has escalated it to the revenue manager, who is trying to work out whether they've employed somebody called Dom recently, whether he used to work at Hilton. But no, be reassured, it's fine. Now, there was also a question mark on the hotel room prices, because we're actually something like 2.5, maybe 3 months earlier than we normally are on the booking process. The prices you can get from the hotel are the same as the prices that we've agreed with them. And in some cases, we're using points and hoarded arcs and those kind of things, even better. This is because the rate they've given us is basically an underwritten rate that won't go up, if that makes sense. So as you get closer to the date, the price doesn't get more and more and more if you have to make the decisions late. So it's a baseline price that we're sort of guaranteed to get. Even if we get closer to the event, all the rooms start getting booked up. So, as is usual, if you can book it using hoarded arcs, or discarded Thargoid hearts, or memberships, or, threats of...
kidneys?
Yeah, well, whatever. Threats of things, then please do book it. I mean, we only do the hotel booking code just so nobody gets a horrible shock that it jumps to a big number as we get close to the event. Other than that, the hotel is much cheaper too. It's something like £45 a night cheaper, £40 a night cheaper, something like that than it was last year.
Yep.
For better hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Yep. Much more modern and funky, and a bar that is guaranteed to be open till 1 a.m. Guaranteed.
Yay.
Yay.
Is it guaranteed to still have beer?
Well, actually, yes, it will do. They have a list of unbreakable rules. They broke the first one, which was the hotel booking system. But they're a great team over there. Little Grey and I met them. So Grey, I mean, you met the team there.
Yeah, they're just so friendly and helpful, like to a whole different level compared to the Pear Tree. It's not the Pear Tree, whatever it was. Hilton. They're just, everything isn't too much of a bother. They're really interested in what we're doing, and half of them have said, can I just come in and have a look? I'm like, yeah, of course you can.
Yeah.
Put a couple of quid
they
in the
put some
tin. Of
pennies in
course
the
you're
trunk,
welcome.
yeah.
Well, Sophie, who we met when we first went to see there, has actually been promoted up to the launch of a new one locally, and she's leaving in a couple of months. And apparently there was a little bit of a fight in the office about who gets ours. Not who doesn't want it, but who does want it. And a lady by the name of Libby, who we also met there, won. Mainly because she'd also met us. She was one of the team, the rest of the team that came through towards the end of our tour, and had a chat with us. So fully clued up. Anyway, it's live. You can get your tickets. All that sort of stuff. And we'd love to see you there. I mean, yeah.
I can't find my hotel booking anymore.
Well, you won't be able to because we broke it. Yes.
I don't know if I've got...
So I just bought a ticket for the ECM while you were talking, and on the hotel thing, I just noticed the dates. They seem to cover like 4 days.
Well, because we've made sure our rate is valid for all of those dates. That's the maximum possible you could stay.
So,
just change it to when you want to stay.
Right. So if it's still just a Saturday event, then we only need hotel for Friday and Saturday night.
Absolutely. Well, there are people who have stayed because they've got gym facilities and all sorts. Some of the further travelling people were saying, well, can I have the same kind of deal if I stay on the Sunday or the Monday? And so So I had them
travelling international as well. They may not be able to get to their flights on a certain day.
Yeah,
it just makes it.
Yeah, that's really good. That's a really good point. Yeah, so for people like me, you've got about a 2-hour drive. I'll just be staying for the Saturday night and then driving back on Sunday. But you've got the option. So if everyone knows, you've got the option. If you need to stay longer, you've got a good rate for the whole.
Yes,
weekend.
well, we guarantee the rate won't go up. If you know what I mean, it's a baseline. It's £85 for a singleton. And then it's, I think, 95 for a pair in a room, whether it's a double or a twin, which is if you're sharing, that's considerably cheaper than it was.
I don't think there are many twin rooms left, so if you're
they will just convert doubles to twins for us. So they're keeping an eye on that, and they're just converting doubles to twins for us as is needed.
Marvellous.
Because the rooms are actually the same, with just different numbers of beds in. But they're very aware of that one, and they've got plenty of time, so they will just accommodate us. What they did was they allocated a certain number of twins and doubles to our account, and they can always swap and change them from the main public ones. There's something like 120 rooms still left at the hotel, so they will accommodate. And I'll be chatting to Libby tomorrow to make sure we have enough twins.
Well, tell her to check I'm on the little list, because I still didn't get a confirmation.
Oh, right. Well, yes, she's checking that one. She's checking that one. Yes. Yes, you're on the list. I'm sure you are. If the money's come out, you're on the list. Well, you had 2 goes at it. So that's ECM. And lots of familiar faces going. I mean, they're the same crew as usual. We'll be doing Hutton Orbital live. There's bound to be... I mean, there's tons of stuff going on. Read the website. And if you haven't been before...
Are they going to do a show this year?
Well, there's going to be lots of them there.
Well,
so
hopefully.
Yes. And Psyche is going to be beating me up every time I run off with the microphone. Again.
Excellent.
On camera. Obviously, we did prove last year that, obviously, from an inclusivity perspective, we had, obviously, page fight in the corner, and we were able to do some remote inclusion for people who weren't physically able to attend, and we are, extending that this year. So if there are people for health reasons or distance reasons or whatever that can't attend, do get in touch on our Discord, and we will make sure we can try and include you, not just sort of by watching remotely, but there are things we can do to get you involved in the day as well. I mean, not hundreds of people, but, we can do something. It worked. Okay, well, time to hand over to somebody else to ask the next important question. So, go on, somebody ask the next one.
Was there a live stream this week?
Nope.
No.
Last Wednesday of every month.
Except January.
Yeah, except January.
I'm not letting that go.
They did actually do on January the 31st in 3310. They did actually do a stream.
Yeah, but not this year.
No, this year.
It's not 3310.
Well, they've been busy sneaking around shipyards and taking spy photos, haven't they? Which they did release yesterday? With a message saying "See you next week." Now, aren't we supposed to be getting colonisation preview, testy kind of things in the next week? Wasn't that what they said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know. I've got everything mixed up with Wreckfest 2 at the moment, so I don't know any dates for anything.
Ah, right. Well, one thing they did show off on their socials was something very dear to our hearts and Buck's heart. Another pre-built ship.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What is
I'll put it on
this thing?
screen.
Oh, right, okay. Jinx Cribbins. Hold
It's the Type 9 trading jumpstart with ship
on.
kit.
Okay.
It's got
Oh,
greebles.
it does
It's
have
got what?
greebles. Greebles.
Greebles, yes. All the little
Greebles are
inconsequential bits that make
Yeah,
spaceships
they're
in
all
Star Wars not
random
look
bits
flat.
stuck on
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that ship kit is available separately. You don't need to get the Jumpstart pack to get that one. But that's a sort of a pre-engineered trading Type 9 with
Being
ship
raided.
kit. Pardon?
Yeah.
What? We've been raided? Duck! Hide! What?
No, oh,
My goodness.
Jeez, oh.
You know, when was
Who-
the last time that's
Who-
happened?
Well, when was the last time we noticed? Because I'm usually watching the script and not there.
This is true.
Hello, raidists. Oh, my goodness.
Radists.
Well, 127 of you. My goodness, if you let yourselves in for a treat. You've missed the news, everybody. You missed the Hutton Orbital news. You'll have to go back and watch it on the VOD afterwards. We're now in the bantery bit. But hello, Raiders, and thank you for joining
Hello,
us.
141 people. That's probably more than.
But any
Oh
of you
no, it just dropped by 40 people.
Yeah, I was going to say, give that 5 seconds, it'll drop to 5.
Well, look, for the benefit of those of you that have not seen Hutton Orbital live before, we do a load of news headlines and then we banter a lot. This is a talk show, so you're not going to see us on this particular week flying around in spaceships. We might do next week, but we do a lot of talking about things, not just elite things, but spacey things that might be vaguely related to elite things. Anyway, but we're talking about Type 9s, which are our favourite, or one of our favourites, because we're space truckers. That's the Type 9 trading jumpstart. Vulkarius, you don't have any details on the actual modules available on this thing, do you?
Nope. That's the type of thing it's the type of thing that the stream chat usually just doesn't stop asking until Arthur and or Zach actually release that. So although that said, Zach has been pretty good on the past few. He's had all the internal module classes in a list ready to go, because that's what most people just want to know. That and the number of utilities.
What could they be bringing out? What could the Empire be bringing out, though? What kind of shit?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, back to that other image. Yes.
The clipper, the cutter, the chopper, the Imperial chopper.
The Imperial chopper.
I'm thinking what
really
type
extended
of ship?
front forks.
But we know it's going to be white.
Well, if it's Gutamaya,
Yeah.
the thing, like
We know it's going to be Gutamaya.
The thing that the Gutamaya ship line's missing is something that fits medium pads.
Yeah.
So you've got the Clipper is, for all intents and purposes, a medium to fly. It's just a little bit too wide to fit on a medium pad. But a genuine medium pad fitting ship would be good.
Okay.
A good addition, I think.
Yeah, because the Couriers it's a small, isn't it?
Yeah, the Courier is a small.
The Courier and the Eagle are both smalls.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imperial Eagle is one of the fastest ships you can get.
The Imperial Eagle looks phenomenal.
There we go. I've managed to put it up on screen now. Yes.
Yeah. And I think it matches the Viper 3 for the maximum speed you can get, which is like 930 or so.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It's got those kind of sweeping sort of inlet sidey things that you're right, do look sort of Saud-Kruger or Gutamaya-ish. Judging by the size of the headless dude standing on the top of it, and I'm sure he's fine, really. I mean, that's a medium ship. That's not a large ship.
It's not a small ship either, for sure.
No.
Yeah.
And the engine's lying on the ground.
Well, if you look at the is that landing gear or in under construction landing gear?
Yeah.
In the centre box. If it could be standing off of the ground in the same fashion that the Mandalay does.
What, with three little mini legs in the middle, like a tripod in the middle?
Tall legs. If you've ever landed a Mandalay, you'll know you'll probably scrape it a few times before you realise that you're higher up. So.
It does look a bit kind of front endy, as if it's pointing towards the left, and we're maybe seeing
the bluish slope beneath the nose. If that is the nose to the left, could well be the staircase down as the front landing gear.
Yeah. But I'm looking at that as well, and I'm wondering if that, where the welding is going on, if that's actually, I don't want to say windows, but you know what I mean.
Whether that's supposed to be
quite
lifted and
different design,
attached,
isn't it?
yes.
Yeah,
all of the other ships that the Imperial ships, they have the cockpits are integrated into the kind of body of the ship, whereas this one almost looks like it's got a pod sticking out of the top for the cockpit.
Yeah.
Well, it's got that sort of Clipper Cutter-esque kind of vibe.
Oh, it's white.
Well, yes, it's white and curvaceous.
Yeah.
So it's an Imperial. Yes.
It's got a look at it.
You're
Looks
right.
like a Gutamaya straight off. But yeah, I wonder what it's going to be.
Well, there is also a gap in the ships, as you said, for the medium-sized ones. So is it another exploration ship? Well, that'd be disappointing.
Yeah, we've really just had one. But yeah, that's something that's missing for the Gutamaya line as an exploration ship.
Passenger transport.
Passenger transport is a possibility.
It might just be designed to look good when you're flying around the galaxy, and you never know.
Combat
they're all
ship.
designed that way.
Generally, Gutamaya ships tend to fly faster for their class than most others, if you think about it. Like the Cutter, for example, obviously flies faster.
Yes, but to compensate for that, they steer slower.
The Eagle we just spoke about.
Once you know how to use your scoop and/or your landing gear.
I mean, given that they've got naval names, obviously, got cutters and clippers.
I suppose there is space for. Let's see. See, with the Clipper, there's definitely a speed theme because the Clipper can reach 642, which is the same as what the Mamba, the Orca, all of those other fast mediums do. So, if they do something medium, I reckon it'll be probably fast. It might even compete with the Mamba. It might even be faster.
Yeah. Okay, so we're looking at fast. I'm just looking. I'm thinking what you thought with the Clipper and the Cutter and things like that. So there could be the launch. There could also be a destroyer or a cruiser.
A Carrack well, isn't that being used by some other? Yes.
A Coracle. That's what I thought as well. I would need to be smaller than an Eagle, I think.
The canoe.
How about a Dow?
Hey, now here's a thought. What's on that screen?
Well, that's one of the engines.
Oh, it's the engine cowling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an engine cowling or a. I'm trying to think what it could be. I mean, frigates are too big, so I'm trying to think. It's not a galleon.
You can see other people stood next to it there. Can you see them? There's one in the middle of all the boxes, and there's one actually standing. They look as if they're stood on top of the boxes to the left, but obviously they're over at the ship because they're teeny.
It looks like a load of junk to me.
No, I can see two human shapes in there.
Could it be the Imperial Man of War?
A Man of War. You'd probably want, it'd need to be a fighter for that one.
You do know that the big white squares in the patch on the right aren't boxes. It's scaffolding with panels covering it.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Modular scaffold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Took a while to work out, but yeah.
Yeah.
A schooner. How about a schooner? We could have an Imperial schooner.
A schooner, yeah. Or the bark.
Yeah.
I think the schooner's probably better.
Or a sloop.
Sloop, yes. That could be a sloop. That's
Yeah, it could be a sloop.
A sloop or a schooner, yes.
I do like the schooner. I think the schooner fits. Of all the names we've managed to come up with, the schooner fits even better than anything else. It's just got a nice sound.
Would it be a reticulated ball schooner?
Oh yes. Yeah. Anyway, it could be one of those. Anyway, the other one somebody's put into the script here as well is something to do with pythons, which I've not. Yeah, I've not yet.
That.
Well, talk amongst yourselves while I just go to the link here and.
Well, it's been out for a while, so most people will probably have seen it. But would you like to make your ship even more garish? Well, we have you covered with your own real monies. You can buy a thing to just go back to the 1960s.
Oh, and, what kind of a thing?
Well, it's
on screen.
Mainly squarely aimed at the Buckyball Racing Club. You can stick jet engines on your spaceship.
It's the Fireball XL Snake.
Oh, well, quite.
It's a racing snake.
Look at that
Fireball
paint job.
XO7.
It's got
Yeah.
an 07 on it, yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
I mean,
You know
that
what your rocket
one.
needs? It needs more rocket.
You know when you
Yeah.
decide you've got of an evening, pop down to the shops because of something you've left out for dinner, and you go out at that time of night where there's a certain age of young man and young lady driving around in cars with blue neon under them, and they've replaced their
I can
exhaust
hear the
pipes with
bass track
dustbins. Yeah,
That's not even where the engines are.
I know. That's exactly. That's like they stick spoilers on rear spoilers on cars that are front wheel drive, not realizing that downforce over the rear wheels is not what you want. It's that, isn't it? It's the Chav edition or whatever.
I do like a massive spoiler on a spaceship though.
Yeah.
I'm resisting the urge to make engine noises through my microphone because it will ruin everybody's ears.
Yes.
Oh,
If it doesn't make that noise when you boost.
Stop there.
Yes.
But if you've got an asp that sounds like a World War I fighter.
I mean, it depends. We do have an international audience here. What are chavs called in other parts of the world? You know, Neds.
Oh, in North Britain,
boy
they're known
races, maybe.
in North Britain, they're known as Neds.
Yeah. We don't know what they're called.
Uneducated
We don't know what they're called in other
delinquents.
parts of the world. Yeah.
Yes.
Or what the French call them, or the kind of people who wear their Burberry cap on backwards and have blue neon under their car.
I think you'll find the French call them les chavs.
Les chavs. Right.
Bogans in Australia. There you go.
Yeah.
In
Germany,
stereo
there
and
will
everything.
be das chavs.
Yes. No, it'd be a combination of a
In
bunch of
Spain,
words.
there will be el chavos.
You just lost another 10 viewers. Well done, Mia.
In the German, of course, in the German one, it would have an SCH in it. It would be.
Oh yes, SCHAVES. Yes.
Yes. Anyway, shaves. Anyway, but okay. So there's that one as well, and that's not a pre-built. That's just a ship kit and paint job, isn't it? I think that's not one of the. Or is it one of the pre-builts? Can't remember, but that's a ship kit and paint job. I actually is it wrong of me? I quite like those engines on the side. I'm getting.
No, I like
awesome.
it, and I like the yellow and red racing paint job as well, and yeah,
Thunderbirds vibes.
and the
Yeah,
big
I like it
number
more if it
7
was
on the
all
side
red.
of it.
As you say, Fireball XL5 is what that reminded me of when I saw it.
Fireball XL5, Thunderbird 1 engines, I think. Kind of.
Of course,
Needs
you
to be hanging
realise
from a
if
string,
that's
basically.
if that's not garish enough for you, those paint jobs. There's always a pink version of those paint jobs as well.
Flossy, can you see yourself flying one of those? No, have we lost Flossie?
I think she's gone for the evening.
We haven't heard from Flossie for a while. I don't know whether
She's gone down the pub and left us.
Are you there?
Had enough.
It's the other space bar. The other space bar. No.
Is there anybody there?
Well, we're going to need her in a bit
Not
because we've got a bit of
once,
script
but
coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you get your Imperial ship and the thing we were talking about earlier, you can always add a ship kit to it to make it look, I don't know, more or less Imperial. Are there many ship kits for the Imperial? I think they've got little winglets on noses, haven't they, on the cutter and the Corvette, the cutter and the.
I think is there not a radar pack for at least one of them?
with
There's a
spikes.
radar. Yeah,
Vulkarius.
spikes and rust.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to add a ship kit to your.
Excuse me.
I don't know that much about Imperial ship. Well, Gutamaya ship kits, I should say.
You like yours unadorned.
He likes
A
the classic
traditionalist.
Okay, well that's that. So that's the new ships bits. So I mean, any other news? I mean, we're going to find out from Flossy because there's some sort of CG related. So, assuming Flossy's still around, find out, and because I think the CGs have got something to do with what's coming out next week in the Brewer Corporation. We don't know what format the new stuff's going to take yet. Whether it's like we have a bit of a go with it and then they roll it back, or whether we're just going to go, here you are, you've got it, get on with it. So there might be a mad scramble next week for new things or not. But we'll find out during... Actually, because the live show that Frontier are doing is going to be after it's launched. I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, the live show goes live sometime in the afternoon, early evening, and it really depends on where the servers come back. So
Yes. We're a little concerned
well, no,
about
it's the
Flossy.
day before, isn't it?
But he said, no, it comes out on the Wednesday.
Yeah. Is it the Wednesday or is it the Tuesday?
No, it's coming out on 26th, the new update, and I thought the Wednesday was when their live stream was. Anyway, it is what it is. But somebody saying in chat that paint job's making them go blind. I'll turn it off. Here we go. Look. There we go. You can have the rotating ones back instead.
Not the paint job that's making you go blind. It's what you're doing while you're looking at it.
Yes. Yes.
I just figured out what the those 07s are missing a 5 because 507 is the speed it will do maximum.
Very good.
Yes,
very good.
Look so much faster.
Maybe the 5 is just implied.
I'd like to see a third-person view with a mini HUD. Oh no HUD. You have to go flying blind on that one. You never need to worry about weapons with that ship kit. No, or well,
just so in response to Sneaky's there, the third-person view with the mini HUD is also known as the gunner role in multi-crew.
Oh yes,
real crew. Of course,
take a buddy with you. Yes. Right. I suppose we ought to move on to the bit of the show, which is space. I see you've saturated us with space news this week. Have we got the answer to the important question in there or not? No, don't know. Okay,
No.
well, I'll tell you what. Let's play the music.
No, we haven't, and no, they haven't.
So they're not home yet. Okay.
So for our new visitors, there's some astronauts that went up into space to go to the space station, and their spaceship broke. The spaceship came back and left them behind.
Go for a week, stay for 6 months.
Yeah,
They are still there.
Oh,
and
I'm
it's
just
now
checking.
a bit of a running joke.
I was just checking. Have we got
It's
Flossy
in-
back? Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you're back.
It's soon going to be too late to bring them back early.
Yes.
Yes, Musk is going to bring them back early. What they
Late.
actually mean to say is Musk's going to bring them back like they planned.
Yeah, maybe 10 minutes earlier.
No, probably not.
Right. Okay. Let's do some space news, shall we? And we'll talk about it properly. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we go.
When you don't know where to get more space news, 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 space news.
Well then, the first news story, which I thought was all warm and fuzzy and accepting and inclusive and was great. You currently need to have all your limbs to go into space, but not any longer. They have now approved the first physical disability astronaut to go into space. And I thought that was really cool. It's not even that long of a news story. It's just I didn't actually find out whether he lost his leg from accident or something else.
It was an accident.
A motorcycle accident, aged 19, and has a prosthesis, a prosthetic leg. And he's been testing it. That does look like they've been testing it by bouncing that plane up and down, and what do you call it? The vomit comet.
The parabolic curve.
Vomit comet. Yep.
It's a vomit comet.
Yep. And I mean, I suppose it ought not to be, as big news. Hey, look, yes, he's got a prosthetic leg. Well, I mean, it's not as if you have to walk around in space. You float around. I mean, it's a natural progression, isn't it? I mean,
Well, you say that, but that also almost makes it more difficult because when you're walking around with the prosthesis,
with one of them,
you can say wooden leg.
With a leg that isn't yours, but it is, but whatever.
Oh, I've been there many a time.
When you're walking around with a ship kit for a leg, you're constantly putting pressure on it. So you're putting it and you're holding it back into place. I know there's a lot more to it in terms of they're very clever in terms of how they strap and they suction on and all sorts of things. Like the technology has come on a huge amount since I've last given it any thought. But yeah, seemingly they've managed to make it work to a point where it's not going to be a problem. Which is it's just
why would he need to wear it at all? on orbit?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just
I mean,
And maybe
possibly
he won't.
I did like
just
sorry.
as an anchor, something to hook himself on with, you know.
Well, I did like the quote by Daniel Neuenschwander, who's the ESA's Director of Human and Robotic Exploration, that he thinks it's an incredible step ahead. And I don't know whether that was a deliberate choice.
I think he meant
It's
that.
not my joke, but I didn't know whether that was a deliberate.
Do you know what would be incredible? If
He
they
really could have said advancement there or anything else.
Yes, anything.
I think it's got
Yeah,
to be
if
deliberate, that choice of
If
language.
they'd arranged for this guy to be one of the next people on the moon, he could have done the small step for a man and a giant hop for mankind gag.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Small
But
step
no,
for
I mean,
man,
fair play.
Another small step for an artificial leg.
Oh, these jokes are just the last leg of our show.
Oh,
It's
man.
just-
But this is John McFall. Anyway, fair play,
like
John
that
McFall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and he's worked really hard for it. I mean, he's like insanely fit. This guy as well.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's marathons he runs, but he does something crazy like that as well. You know.
I was just skimming through to see. I'm just trying to see whether there's any note on that one. It's long duration as well, which is interesting. It's not just an up and down again kind of quick flight, although the up and down again seem to be, and now you're staying for 9 months kind of flights.
Could you imagine? You went up and got stuck.
But
I've only got enough pants for tonight.
yes. We've run out of pot noodles now. Anyway, right, okay, let's moving on to the second article. So I don't know who wants
A
to
little
drive
bit
on this one.
less exciting, this one. I mean, I'll start the ball rolling, but basically, one of the things I sort of suggested at last week is the space industry just seems to be struggling a bit. There's lots of parts of the space industry, certainly in the US, are laying significant numbers of people off. And part of it seems to be because of this SPAC, SPAC boom and bust. And it was just kind of, I actually read this one because working for a startup like I do, it was interesting kind of certain things like, where was it? There was an issue where they committed to doing too many things and then proceeded to be late with everything and achieved none of it, which just sounded like my workplace at times.
Well, it sounds like how the world works, that one is, take on too much, never finish anything. It's a bit like the space industry's got a little bit of the ADHD about it. The 1,000 things going on and all of them are multiplexed at the same time, and none of them end up finished.
What was interesting, this very doom and gloom headline, and you come to the bottom, and like the guy who, I can't see who it was who quoted, but if that's about a 50% success rate of companies that are worth more than when they started, he quipped. And that's a much better than we did with the .com sector. I mean, is that a fair comparison to anything?
Well, one of them actually makes one, and the other one just makes promises. But yeah. I mean, there is a bit of boom and bust. I mean, bear in mind it was previously the exclusive province. Well, like a lot of it was exclusive province of governments, and of course there's a lot more commercial interest in there now. But you can't have sort of fake money behind this one because you've actually got to physically build the satellites. It's not paper money. It's not Bitcoin or anything like that. It's fake money. But you've actually got to physically have a thing. A bit like this New Zealand rocket lab down in New Zealand have got a physical thing. They launch actual rockets. You've actually, this investment's got to have a resultant object and a project.
At some point you've got to get a satellite from the ground to space.
Yes.
And if it's all in Bitcoin, that might not happen because you might not be able to buy the bits to make the thing to get the satellite.
Yeah, and I suppose the vast sums of money involved as well. You've got to have it up front. You can't do speculative, well, it might cost. You've actually got to have the money up front too, which maybe the success rate of these is to do with, proper industry budgetary controls and not letting governments and their unlimited budgets. Oh, it was going to cost 26 billion, but now it's going to cost 120, and that's just for a bypass round insert town here. Or an HS2 rail line that's never going to exist with a government project. White elephants, that's the word I was looking for.
Just lost another 10 viewers talking about boring economics. I think we should move on to the next one.
Wow. The next one is was it I get a space phone, you get a space phone, everyone gets a space phone.
Everyone gets a space phone. I noticed in an advert recently that satellite calling is now a thing on iPhones because, of course, it is, because everyone goes out of phone signal all of the time in the UK. But actually, I go to with my work, I do have occasionally end up in Africa, and there are places where phone signal is a problem, and there is no alternative. You can't just go to somewhere where they have Wi-Fi instead. So this was just kind of. There's a race now, a bit like Starlink, I suppose, to try and get as many satellites into space that mobile phone networks can use.
But you can't see the night sky properly, yes.
Well, yeah, it's getting busy up there, isn't it? But seemingly there is SpaceX and T-Mobile are expanding their direct-to-smartphone beta trials, which... I mean, do you want to be able to see the stars, or do you want to be able to use your phone and look at pictures of cats?
Well, I mean, there's
endless reels.
Well, to put it this way, there are drivers several drivers in the US at the moment who don't really have any concept of terrestrial radio or even digital terrestrial radio. It's only satellite radio.
Okay.
Not knowing much about the States, that makes sense. And that's why Starlink exists, isn't it?
Well, I suppose it's consumerization of something that was once again sort of military technology or really expensive commercial technology, and consumerization of it. So, yeah, I mean, it's quite cool. I mean, despite the fact that when I was in the middle of the Serengeti, I still had mobile signal while watching lions and all these kind of things. And then if I go to the, middle of London, I've magically got none all of a sudden, which you'd think a global capital might have decent mobile signal, and I have to use the Wi-Fi. So, to
be fair, the bits of Africa I was in, there were sections where, like, there's no way I'm getting phone signal here. And actually, no, my phone was having a conflict between using phone signal in Rwanda and Congo, because both of them were so strong it didn't know which one to use.
Yeah. I suppose there's more open space and less getting in the way of your signal, and fewer people per square watts it. Okay, yeah. Well, the next one, obviously, this is an interesting one, given we're not going to get into politics this week, okay? About why, this one might be the case. But the FAA and SpaceX might be friends again?
They might be friends again. And then you read the article and you find out that's really, really not true. So this is all kicked off because, as a few weeks ago we said about the rapid unplanned disassembly of one of SpaceX's ships coming down, and rather a lot of aircraft having to be diverted. And so they want to basically, the FAA want to work out a way of just improving the air traffic control system to factor in how SpaceX operate and all.
So a space traffic control.
Basically, yes, but the two have got to work together, as I understand it.
Well, wasn't there a bit of one of the rockets landed in Poland yesterday? It burnt up in the atmosphere and big fiery fireball and landed in Poland. Was it yesterday? Some debris, which was not cheese.
I noticed you didn't get the cheese joke into the script.
No, I was.
But anyway, it was just. I'm trying to find the quote now, but basically, there's a whole load of arguments as to pro and for. In the like, SpaceX put people in danger yesterday, and their for-profit cooperation should reimburse every other for-profit organization that had to divert, change course, delay because of their operations in national airspace system, wrote a significant aviation safety chair. So this is gonna be interesting, but it's a step in the right direction.
We're not going to get into politics.
Does that mean that Delta Airlines need to give money back to everybody else that was meant to be landing at that airport that they took out the runway on accidentally?
I do believe there is something that is likely they will be charged for the number of hours they've taken the runway out of action for. So probably.
That sounds as a proportion of the damage done to the aviation industry when stuff like this keeps happening. That sounds tiny, to be honest.
Yeah. Right. So the last one, and you guys can drive on this one, about the centre of the Milky Way, and being a bit of a thug. Do enlighten me.
So it's a pretty picture. Is about the size of this one. It's probably an artist concepts. But the idea of this is they've been looking into the center of the galaxy, and they found out that the black hole in the middle is perhaps, unsurprisingly, really violent, and it's sucking things in. That's about as far as I got because I haven't paid the pound subscription to look at the rest of the article.
Right, well, we could always ask Zulu Romeo, having been to Sagittarius A star, whether it was a particularly violent location. But, I mean, all the lensing and everything they're talking about there and is all visible if you fly there. So hop into your spaceship and explore Asp or a Mandalay or something and take it off to Sag A star. And it is, you get too close, it does get a little bit violent. If you get too close.
Of course, now that you've got Supercruise Overcharge, but prior to that, it actually takes a really, really long time to collide with Sagittarius A star, or at least the exclusion zone.
Yeah.
But now you can SCO up to it. You should be able to take a bunch of damage and actually get to it in a few seconds.
Take a bunch more damage when you get there.
Must have changed since I was there then.
The observers observed a constant flickering of light from the swirling discs of gas surrounding the black hole, called an
accretion disk. Yeah,
accretion. The flickering appears to be emanating from material very close to the event horizon, so it's getting stressed out. The point of no return beyond which everything, stars, planets, gas, and dust, disappear and forms an electromagnetic radiation and gets dragged into oblivion. There are also occasional flares around 1 to 3 of every 24-hour period. So they're just basically seeing these pulses on the radio telescopes and wondering, what's that?
That's what it really looks like.
Occasional flares, just a flashback to the 1970s there. Yeah.
No, to me, all that looks like is Windows Media Player visualizations, if you remember those.
Yes, I remember those.
Right, and
floating glass orb screensaver.
And so, having had our near miss at the orbital with that giant gold nugget that flew past, NASA's asteroid watch. We were talking about it last week about are we going to get obliterated or not?
So last week the estimate was 2.4%. Did we say?
I think so.
It reached a high on Tuesday of 3.1% with latest observations. By Wednesday, it was down to 2.8%. And today, the latest data is that it is 0.27%.
I think
so. They don't know, is what we're finding out. Is
this time next week will be over 10%?
No, they don't know. That's why it's a percentage chance rather than a yes or a no. But the odds are currently getting lower.
So is it now more likely we're going to be hit by this asteroid or my winning the national lottery?
Oh, far and away the asteroid.
by orders of magnitude.
But keep playing. You only have to get lucky once.
Or finding
Raxler. 1 in
400
400 chance of it hitting at the moment. But for context, the closest approach is 120,000 miles, plus or minus 1 million miles.
Right.
You know what I'm going to ask now, don't you?
How many bananas?
What's that in bananas?
It's many bananas. Many bananas. More bananas than you could eat in a day.
But the fact that the margin of error is 10 times the closest approach is the reason why it may or may not hit. But it's almost certainly not. There's still nobody formally coughed up to the fact that they are planning a mission to divert it. But India is launching a research team to look at it. And NASA is talking about the fact that they're not going to announce anything until they're more sure of what's happening. So we shall see. There's going to be ongoing observations through March, April, May from James Webb and Hubble. So by the end of that, we should have a pretty clear idea of if it's going to hit or not.
Yeah, but it's not a planet killer, is it?
Oh no, it's a city killer.
It's a city killer.
Only a city killer.
We did that one.
Only a city killer. I mean, lots of
100
people.
kilometers was what you said last time.
Yeah. If it hits, a city, absolute devastation, and lots of people would lose their lives. But there is quite a bit of that kind of trajectory that's over water as well.
But
I don't know what effect that would have if it hit the water.
Very little.
Really?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
it's not big enough to cause tidal waves. If it hits the water, you're just going to get Ships in the immediate vicinity get a bit upset, but that's all.
Yeah, okay. Right, so there's not going to be any vast clouds of steam causing nuclear winters or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Well, not due to the asteroid.
Not due to the asteroid, no.
But we're not getting political.
Thank you for that, yeah.
Right, an update, by the way, just before we... I'm going to close this one, do an update, and then we're going to go to the word of the week. So there's a little thing after this. So let's finish off with the space news. Hang on.
Space news.
I'll ask the question.
No, well, yeah, you can ask that question, but I've got the other thing first.
Oh, right, do the other thing first then.
The other thing first. Just as an update on ECM. Now, there was in the article mentioning that it was not called DaveCon.
Wait, it was? Also, I have an update on ECM as well. I just booked my hotel room as well.
Woohoo! Yes, so the majority of the people are going. Out of the currently 69 people plus probably one extra just booked.
Dude.
Already booked in the last 24 hours. The most popular name of person turning up is David.
It's not David, yes.
It is, yes.
So it is, again, DaveCon.
If you added up all the George Stewart's Nicks and then added the Gareths, you'd have the same number as you would have David's.
Cool.
Yes. So
it's DaveCon.
At the moment, it is very much.
Is there one George, one Stewart, one Nick, and one Gareth, and 4 days?
2 Gareths.
Well, we know there's at least one Gareth.
2 Gareths.
Yeah, put it this way: 10% of the people there are called David. So yeah, it is unfortunately looking like it's going to be turning into DaveCon yet again. So if your name is anything other than David, and you know 15 Chris's or something, and you want to beat the list, then find.
No, don't invite the Chris Collective. That's an entirely different.
No,
group.
2 Chris's.
Or the Helens. We can have more Helens.
No more Helens.
No.
One.
We can have at least one Claire Helen.
Yeah, well, possibly. There is only one. There's only one else.
Yes.
There's only one LCU though. I can tell you that for free. There's only, even though he's cloned himself many times.
Yeah, they've been banned.
They've been banned. Yeah. Right, I'm handing over to you for the other question now. Go on.
Right. Okay. Do we have a word of the week?
We do, because you wrote it. So yes,
Yeah,
we definitely do.
Yeah,
we have a word of the week.
The people at home can't see that.
The word of the week. I'm sorry, guys, that are French that are still here. It is an English word, and it's heliotropic.
What does that mean?
Turning towards the sun like a plant that follows the sun across the sky. The term comes from the Greek word helios, which means sun, and tropic, which means turned towards.
Can you use it in a sentence?
You just watch me.
Yeah, I'm watching you.
Gusto the Clown spent a productive afternoon shouting heliotropic bastards at the sunflowers outside of the primary school.
Oh,
so cute.
So nice.
That's a bit uncharitable towards the sunflowers. I think that sentence is a bit floxy, norsy, nihilopilificacious.
I could wager that most sunflowers don't know their heritage.
I'm willing to bet that very few of those sunflowers' parents were married.
Well, unlike potatoes, and you do get heritage potatoes, don't you? So, they do know their heritage.
They are heliotropic bastards. I've seen them. All valid.
Fact or opinion?
Who cares? Right. Shall we hand over now for some class? Shall we hand over to Vulkarius for space fact of the week?
I mean, don't ask me. Either hand over or don't.
I'm waiting for somebody to start playing the space fact music. There we go.
Lots of space facts that everyone need to know. Think for Hutton straight to your brain.
This week, we look at the Milky Way stunt double and our closest neighbour, the Andromeda Galaxy. It's a princess. The Andromeda Galaxy is named for the constellation Andromeda, where it is located in the night sky. The constellation was named after the mythical princess Andromeda, the daughter of Queen Cassiopeia and the wife of the Greek hero Perseus. It is also known as the princess, the chained maiden, Persea, brackets wife of Perseus, end brackets, or Cepheus, brackets daughter of Cepheus, end brackets. I guess that's where they get the name Cephusector. If you've seen Clash of the Titans, Andromeda was the princess who was being carried off by a giant bird every night to meet Calibos in the swamp. Her dad chained her to the rocks for the Titan to eat, but Perseus rescued her. It also looks familiar. Like the Milky Way, the Andromeda Galaxy is a spiral galaxy with white areas of hot young stars. That's the balls of gas, not celebrities. Darker areas of dust where stars are beginning to form, and a more yellow central area where older stars are. It's a local galaxy for local people. It's part of the local group of galaxies, which also includes the Milky Way and the Triangulum Galaxy. It's far away. The Andromeda Galaxy is approximately 2.5 million light-years from the Milky Way. Some of you have covered that distance in Elite. But not for long. The Andromeda Galaxy is headed in our direction, and in some billions of years will collide with the Milky Way. I say collide due to the vast different distances between stars. Most will miss each other. But the supermassive black holes at the centre of each galaxy, which I didn't think Andromeda had, but anyway, will collide and form the centre of the new combination galaxy. It's photogenic. Say again?
Milkdromeda.
Yeah. You, I suppose.
We're not going to
you
call
do
it
that
the
with a name.
Andrew Way, are we?
I don't know how portmanteaus work. I don't know who chooses them. I guess it's you. Right. It's photogenic. Whenever you see an image of the entire Milky Way, it's actually the Andromeda Galaxy standing in. Currently, we don't have any way to take an image of the Milky Way from outside. While the Milky Way spirals, widdershins, which the studio informs me is some silly amphigorical Scots flapdoodle poppycock word for anti-clockwise, the Andromeda Galaxy spins clockwise because it's south of us, which may or may not be true. I think that was a joke. Sadly, you can't go there in Elite, but you don't need to. It's possible to see the Andromeda Galaxy with the naked eye, although it appears as a dim, fuzzy star. You can find the Andromeda Galaxy by looking for the constellation Cassiopeia, which is shaped like the letter M or W. The brightest star in Cassiopeia, the Shadar, points to the Andromeda Galaxy. And that's it for this week's This week's Space Facts.
Seamless.
Lots of space facts that what you know need to know. Think from Hutton straight to your brain.
Sorry, I had to press it. It was too perfect.
Seems. Well, it was. So thank you very much, Vulkarius. So yes, just for those who are expecting us to do sort of combative Thargoid things with Vulkarius, the Thargoids have buggered off home again and haven't come out to play very much. And Vulkarius,
there are of those few places, but there's pretty much Fraggle Thargoid action.
Fraggles and the doozers.
Fraggles.
Where are the doozers? Oh yes.
No, there's a hyphen. Fraggle. They've gone and flight. They've gone and flight assisted off. So
yes. Can anybody remember the name of the dog from Fraggle Rock?
Oh, Gidget or Widget or Gizmo?
Sprocket the dog. There we go. Right, yes. Flossie.
I'd like to congratulate. I'd like to congratulate Vulkarius on managing to masterfully tiptoe through the crap that I'd written. And right. I did look up the black hole. Apparently, there is a black hole at the centre of Andromeda, and when we get close enough, the two black holes will swirl around each other.
They're going to have a party,
and then they're going to two will
A
become
recent
one.
paper did suggest that they may not actually hit each other, the two galaxies. It may be a close approach and fly past.
Or we end up spinning around them at high speed like you do when you... Yeah.
What's the percentage?
Strange black
clue.
hole mating routine.
Well, maybe we should send Zulu Romeo to go and investigate the supermassive black hole at Andromeda for us and be the first one there. We'll have to ask Zulu Romeo. Okay, Flossie, talking of sprockets, I think they were handing out those kind of things as rewards, or possibly not. But are you ready for your bit?
Yes, I'm ready.
In which case, we've got the old-fashioned original theme tune for you. Well, no, it's on a randomizer, so it could be rubbish, but we'll see. It could be the good one. No, it won't be. It'll be it's Interstellar Initiatives. Could be. Let's have a go, shall we?
When the universe is in trouble, bug infestations in the bubble, your home station's burned rubble. What on earth can we do when your faction leader's a dog and your daily tasks are a slog? You're feeling like a used cog. What on earth can we do now? Interstellar Initiatives. Let Flossy tell you what it is. Then you can get involved with this. You should listen to what Flossy says. Interstellar Initiatives. Flossy tells us what she thinks it is.
Oh yes, it's the long one.
You can get involved with this. Now you should listen to what Flossy says. Listen to what Flossy says. What on earth can we do? Do what Flossy tells you
to.
What if she talks nonsense? Interstellar Initiatives. Let Flossy tell you what it is. Then you can get involved with this. You should listen to what Flossy said. Now we heard what Flossy said. He can put this matter to bed. Just keep her voice in your head. Flossy told you what to do.
Hello, Flossy here with this week's CG News. First of all, last week, nearly 3 weeks, CG, the Brewer Corporation Planetary Survey Initiative finally finished at 2000 UTC on Tuesday following the lifting of a week-long lockdown. There was a flurry of activity on Monday as commanders were finally able to sell their data. At one point, it did look like the CG could end early afternoon if the contributions continued at the same rate. However, once the initial rush was over, contribution rates slowed considerably, resulting in reaching just over 91% of the total. The top 25% received 125 million credits, top 50% 75 million credits, and the top 75% 50 million credits, and the top 100% 30 million credits. In addition to a detailed surface scanner V1 pre-engineered with expanded probe scanning radius. And this week we have 2 new CGs, each one to last up to 2 weeks. The Brewer Corporation Trailblazer Fleet Initiative and Protect Deliveries to Minerva. Brewer Logistics has issued a request for deliveries to Starlay Station in the Minerva system. Brewer COO Mark Vennick stated in a press release, "I have commissioned new additions to the Trailblazer megaship fleet, which will aid in supplying early colony claims. To ensure these megaships are ready for service and sufficiently stocked on time, we call for independent traders to bring specific commodities to Minerva so we can meet our planned 2-week deadline. Traders who wish to contribute to the initiative can hand in commodities to the Starlay station in the Minerva system. The following commodities have been requested: copper, computer components, CMM composites, power generators, water purifiers, surface stabilisers and structural regulators. Brewer Corporation has committed to deploy a new Trailblazer megaship for each tier reached within the initiative. These megaships will be deployed at the edge of the core systems and will be stocked with commodities critical for colonisation efforts. Following the recent security incident during Brewer Corporation's latest survey initiative, Brewer COO Mark Rennick has issued a request for protection of deliveries to the Minerva system. Rennick stated in a separate press release, "The Trailblazer fleet is considered a key element in supporting early colonisation efforts. The recent Trailblazer Echo incident has shown that parties unknown are willing to sabotage humanity's expansion efforts. It is critical that this latest initiative is afforded protection, and I am confident that independent commanders will provide the security required." All participants will, both of each CG, will receive a unique ship decal. Participants must register at least one contribution to be eligible. Credit rewards will also be distributed according to individual contribution level. The campaign began today, 20th of February, and will run for 2 weeks. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. To earn rewards, you must sign up as an active participant before delivering requested commodities or handing in bounty vouchers at Starlay Station. Only bounty vouchers handed in after signing up will count toward your personal contribution total. The bounty vouchers must have been awarded by either the system's controlling faction or the major faction aligned with the system controller. Please note that if you have any crew members, a proportion of your bounty vouchers will be automatically assigned to them. These bounty vouchers will not count towards your personal contribution total, and your crew will receive the reward for these bounty vouchers when they are handed in. The proportion of bounty vouchers assigned to your crew will depend on their rank. Be aware that faction state changes and other disruptive events can negatively impact markets and station services and could prevent the initiative from running smoothly. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
That was a big one.
It was.
She said.
Everybody was saying,
Don't fall
"Oh, we haven't
asleep."
got any."
She did say it.
Did you see the cunning extra graphics there we put on? I even managed to get up the Minerva system on the screen, especially for that one. Yay!
On the fly editing. Good work.
Absolutely. Oh, I better put your faces back on screen now that you're talking as well. There we go. Let's put Grey back on. There we go. And let's put Vulkarius back on. There we go. Well, I'm going to hand over to Vulkarius, who wasn't reading the script, even though I did ping him. Ha ha ha. Are you there, Vulkarius?
How are you getting him to do?
No, and it's true. I was not reading the script. I was saving my ECM information. I get to introduce something. I've never done that before, or at least I don't think I have. So now we hand over to Beetle, Jude, and Wotherspoon for the Galnet News Digest.
Galnet News Update, 20th of February 3311. Earlier this evening, Hutton Community Goal Supremo Commander Flossy announced 2 new initiatives from Brewer Corporation. Following on from their previous goal to gather exploration data, which was suspended for 5 days after pirates forced Brewer to lock down, Commander Flossy explained that Brewer is now planning to create up to 8 megaships to assist with colonisation. These ships, she explained, will contain all the commodities needed to keep a new colony supplied and will be deployed around the edges of the bubble for maximum convenience. In order to make this possible, Commander Flossy said, Brewer has asked commanders to help deliver an unusual list of commodities to Starlay Station in the Minerva system. Having learned from their mistake during the previous community initiative, Commander Flossy went on to explain that a second parallel bounty hunting CG will aim to keep the Minerva system operational throughout the 2 weeks of the appeal. Commander Flossy pointed out that although these two initiatives will continue past the 26th of February, the intention remains that the colonisation initiative will start on that day as planned. With an eager audience waiting on every word, Commander Flossy detailed the rewards available for participants. A unique Brewer Corporation decal, plus a proportion of the financial prize pot. She rounded off her bulletin with the usual disclaimers. That you need to remember to sign up, that crew members are greedy and will steal some of your bounties, and, as if we didn't already know through bitter experience, that station services can be disrupted by naughty commanders. Don't forget to tune in next week for Commander Flossy's update as both CGs reach their halfway point.
Short and sharp. Thank
He
you
was
to
listening.
Thank you to Weedlejude and Botherspoon. They summarised Flossy CG news, so you don't have to.
Yes, just in case you weren't paying attention. And if you weren't paying attention, you're gonna get one of those. You know, one of those.
I wasn't paying attention. I was looking for our next bit.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, thank you very much to Flossy for feeding Beetlejude and Wotherspoon. Yes, so all of the news for this week, so they could reiterate it
He's
nicely
fast,
for
though,
us.
isn't he?
He is very fast. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he must have been typing that and recording it on the fly as Flossy was talking. Total legend, the Wotherspoon. Available to meet in person at ECM 2025. Both of them.
I hear he's bringing beer mats again.
What?
Just saying.
We better have beer to put on the beer mats. Right.
Oh, quite.
Well, look.
Speaking
It's,
of which,
go on
was
then.
it expected then that the hotel email confirmation system is broken?
It is absolutely. We broke it. Yes.
Yeah, I saved the web confirmation, so I can present it if needed. But yeah.
Oh no! You just turn up and say it's me, and they'll go, "Oh, come in." Yes. Right. I'm just noticing what Little Grey is typing in there, because it's that part of the show where we're going to say goodnight to everybody, and we're all done, and we're going to go and have the rest of our evenings and get ready for all the exciting news next week about people arguing over who stuck their flag in what first. I think is going to be the biggest thing. That's my system. Well, tough. My flag's in it. And obviously what Arthur and Zach talk about on the live stream. Other than that, does anybody have any other business before we head off into the sunset?
You missed sunset. That was about 4 hours ago.
Well, if
Maybe
you're
not that far now anymore. It's getting light soon.
Well, if you're on the east coast of America, you might be getting close to that time of year. I don't know, Caribbean? No, it's not quite there yet. Sunset. Okay, well, so it is traditional at this point, because we did have a raid. We better mention it to a few people, where we sort of yell for the mug and we play some credits. You do need to read the credits, because Litho spent a lot of time typing those recipes in, and then at the end of the credits, we go and raid somebody who needs, I don't know, a few more viewers. Now, I'm closing my eyes and trusting somebody else. Oh no, you've moved them. They disappeared from the script. They were there a second ago. They've gone now. Oh, there we are.
Carriage return.
Carriage return. Yes. Page break. So you've picked some. Number one, are they flying spaceships?
Yes.
Yes.
And do they look? Well, I'm not doing that first one. No, I'm definitely not doing that first one. That's too rude, even though it's us. So we're probably going to go and raid somebody. As is traditional, obviously, if you turn up from a Hutton stream and go and raid them, give them a hearty for the mug. Don't try and persuade them they're anacondas at Hutton. We've checked. They all got blown up by Tharg. No, they got smashed. If you want to bring one to Hutton for us and dock it, then we'll have some left for later. But
yeah, you get a free mug if you dock an anaconda at Hutton.
No, you have to buy them.
No, we give you one free one if you dock.
Oh right,
anacondas.
or even those Type 9s with those funky ship kits. So I suppose we better say a hearty good night for the mug. Thank you to Vulkarius. Look, I put on just up for you of a Thargoid being blown up. Thank you to Little Grey. Thank you to Litho. Thank you to Flossy and the Apology Officer. That's it. Yeah.
Yay!
And we will see you next week, same time, same place, with more news. Bye bye. And for the mug.
Yay.
Mug!
No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading up the T-9s to the brim with grain. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug. Flossy always seems to crash into the sun. Swivel likes the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the front, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody yell. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. Give me a large pad that I can land on, and I'll give you my cargo and sing you my song. North Part 22 light years to go. Cruising to Hutton, whoa, whoa, whoa. No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud like you don't even care. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. Everyone's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too?